This week's guest is presented to you by Bertarelli Cutlery. Marco Bertarelli at Bertarelli Cutlery has been in the knife sharpening business for decades. It's a family-owned business straight from the mother country of Italy. Marco is a dear friend, and they've been a partner with Illinois Recovery Center and offering second chance jobs for folks that are leaving treatment and looking for work. Please check them out at bertarellico.com. That's BERTARELLICO.com. And you can always find them and their retail store at 1927 Marconi Avenue on the Hill in St. Louis, Missouri. bertarellicutlery.com.
I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. Yeah. React if you have to, yeah. Don't know the time, yeah. Just know that I'm, yeah, one of a kind, yeah. What's on your mind, yeah. We're hard to find, yeah. Beautiful mind, yeah. Still in my prime, yeah. Just know that I'm here.
Pondoff's Anonymous episode 13.
Lucky 13.
Lucky 13. Cool episode coming up today. We have a guest, and I think I know how to pronounce your last name, Dylan. Is it like it sounds, Dunnagan?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. It's very Irish.
That's yeah, that is okay. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. Well, that starts off why you're here.
I always said I was born with like a pot of like mashed potatoes in one hand, like a bottle of Jameson in the other. You know, like, what else we got? You know,
Right, no shit. That's about it.
and hell, for a while we didn't even have that.
Yeah.
The British came and took our potatoes, man.
Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. I got a sense of it. So yeah, we're here. Jeff got here early today, midday to do some technical.
Yeah, because I keep fucking up. So
You said it. When you're not paying a guy, you can't like fire him or hold him accountable.
the sound is the most important part, and that always is.
Sure.
It's always good.
Pristine. So Dylan, he almost got tackled by our CEO walking on the podcast.
Yeah.
Eric, don't fuck around. He saw some strange guy walking through the. Strange guy meaning not a familiar face, not a client.
You could probably say strange, right?
Well, he had. You
The
don't.
shoe fits.
You don't look strange. I think we'll get there. Being
Well,
a
it's
punk
probably because of
rocker.
the way I was walking. You know, like one leg out, leaned over. No, I'm just kidding. Probably has something
Eric,
to do with it.
who the fuck? He's like, usually he tackles first and then asks questions.
Who's this? Like, who's this guy doing the stanky leg? Like, get out of here.
So yeah, this is good because I'm excited about this episode because Dylan, this is the first time we've met, and you know, to date, I think most, if not all, of the guests I've known personally, or I've heard their story. So as an untrained interviewer, with untrained is churching it up a little bit. I mean, I'm fucking horrible at it, but. Like, if you know the story, you probably could forget to ask some things that are just, you know, and it's kind of what Jeff does for us drunks and addicts. Right. You know, he asks the questions that everybody's thinking and asking, but not the hard ones. So we're glad to have you. We're grateful that you decided to come on. You've done podcasts before?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. It can't be microphone shy, given is it profession that we call it, or your life?
Semi-profession,
Okay.
Life, hobby. I don't know. I just, you know, I played music for a long time, been on stage.
Right.
You know, so it's
That's
like,
your life, yeah.
Yeah, it has been my life. You know, I'm 31. I think I started, like, performing out with bands at, like, 16 or 17.
Nice.
You know, playing out for money, you know.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, yeah, pretty ingrained.
And that lifestyle, industry, profession has a lot of stereotypes that are probably accurate when it comes to drugs and alcohol. Everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember in college, I guess OAR was in town in Champaign and big fans, and I don't know, we somehow ended up back at my house, and I mean, I don't remember who all was doing blow. I know I was doing blow. It wasn't
OAR was at your house?
one of the guys. He was dating my roommate's cousin, and yeah, we had. I think they slept behind the bar where we had this kegerator that got, like, I can feel the floor sticking to my feet now. I threw a blanket down and passed out there, I think, for about an hour. So yeah, it's a pretty cool story, I guess. Now these,
Yeah, it is.
That's a rock and roll story.
yeah, all
They're a
right.
jam band, right? So, like, of course there's drugs.
Right. I love them. I still do. I played City on Down live from Madison Square Garden. We played at our wedding, like, as one of the entrance songs. And then, I don't know, it's got to be the guy from, the Tom guy from Blink-182.
Oh, yeah.
He started that Angels and Airwaves band, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about music.
There you go.
So you probably know more about that than I do. Yeah,
Big-
I know
big
you're
Blink fan.
Yeah, you're a big Blink, Tom, all those guys.
You're the big Green Day fan.
I was a Green Day guy.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're actually gonna fist fight after this.
Oh, is that
That's
is
what
that
happens.
is that a thing?
Oh,
No.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
not really.
I think maybe it's
Did
a
you go to the Pop Disaster Tour, or were you too young?
I was too young.
Oh, yeah. That was a good show.
But
I'm
we're
old.
recreating that though with a couple of guys in town feeling this. They do the
Oh,
Blink.
they're a Belleville band, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
For the most, I think they play at Benny's and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we just we met up with them. Like last year, we started to do the Almost Warp thing over in St. Charles. We moved it to Afton at 9 Mile Garden
Oh, yeah.
over there, and so we're doing that in June the 28th, I think.
Oh,
but
that'll be a blast.
Oh, it's going to be incredible. But on top of that, we're like, hey, let's do a couple shows a year and do like the Pop Disaster thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of funny that gets brought up. It's like, yeah, that's kind of like really relevant. It's just like,
Yeah. So to translate, what they're doing is they're doing two tribute acts, a Blink-182 act and a Green Day act. And back in the day, they did a tour together where they co-headlined called the Pop Disaster Tour. So these guys are going to do some tribute shows, it sounds like, which
Yes.
is pretty cool.
Yep.
Will you then tribute Green Day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Billy Joe from Green Day is one of my favorites.
All right.
Ever. Performer, songwriter, musician, you name it.
And he's got a hell of a story about Billy Joe Armstrong.
Good. I can't wait to hear it. Don't let him get out of that. I mean,
We won't. We'll
does
talk
he tell it now, or do we kind of get?
You can tell it now, unless
Yeah.
unless you think it might go better weaving within your story.
We don't have any structure here.
That's
so
right.
We'll just fuck around for a couple hours.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
I'm a little pissed you didn't bring your guitar or whatever you play. You know, jammed up.
No, part of me kind of thought about it, but I'm like, I don't know. This is, it's like
You
one,
charge money for that, though.
Yeah.
We can't. We need a couple more sponsors before we start having
Yeah.
live music on our podcast.
Well, that store, I don't know if it doesn't really coincide with anything besides it's just like another like adventure of
Yeah,
mine, I guess.
right.
Nothing serious, but nothing like, life altering.
Yeah.
So I'm still drinking. I think I'm 23 at the time. And we go to the amphitheater. They were doing the Revolution Radio tour. And so my buddy Mikey and I, the bass player for Safety Third, our Green Day
Is Riverport?
tribute. Yeah, Riverport. So we're like, hey, let's stop over at the gas station. Got a couple tall boys and kind of pre-gamed a little bit. I had a van at the time. And we opened like the back hatch and sat there with a small little cooler and like drank some beer and like listened to Kerplunk, one of their records,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Said hi to people
I'm
walking
picturing
by.
a piece of shit van that you go.
No, it was
oh,
a nice
sorry.
van,
All right,
actually.
sorry.
Believe it or not. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. No, it was an '08 Grand Caravan, and another story is that I ended up wrecking that, and that'll coincide with what we're talking about here.
Sure.
And so we get done with that. We go inside. Echo and the Bunnymen played, and I'm like, they maybe have a song I don't mind or something. Not a big
Yeah.
fan. Don't hate them or anything. Like,
Sure.
just. And so we get in there. I think I drank like 2 or 3 more beers, so I'm feeling it. I haven't really eaten anything. And we entered a contest. It's like, hey, you can win general admission tickets, pit tickets. I'm like, oh, let's do it. And I can tell the story now because he doesn't work there anymore. I think it was the point. And a buddy of mine was working there, and they held the contest. And basically, he turned around and goes, "Hey, like that guy is like the biggest Green Day guy I know, fan. Like we should just give him those tickets." And I didn't know that. So anyway, I get a text from him. It's like, "Hey, come on up here." And I thought, a friend of a friend is showing up. Like, "Oh, dude, come say hi real quick before it gets too crazy." He goes, "No, you won the tickets." And so as we were putting in our tickets before that, I looked at Mikey and I went, if we get down there, I'm getting on stage with them. Like, it's just, that's all there is to it. Well, fucking lo and behold, a couple hours later, they play an old Operation Ivy song called Knowledge. And over the years, they bring people up to play with Green Day.
Really?
Yeah, say hi and all that stuff. So I get picked.
Because it's 3 chords, so like they can, they're gonna know that people are gonna know. Anyone who knows how to play power chords can play this song. Now I've seen the video, and you did a little more than power chords.
I thought, well, if I'm gonna get up on stage in front of 20,000 people, like,
so it was full fucking house when they pulled you up on stage at Riverport. No,
it was only maybe a couple hundred tickets, if that, not sold out.
Wow,
there was 20,000,
I mean,
21,000.
I think Green Day. I think of full house, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can fill the seats, that's a crazy.
Not the TV show,
because you can't even see the fucking.
You can't see the lawn up there.
Yeah.
You
from
can't.
from the vantage point of being on the stage, you can't. No shit.
No, you might be able to see some phone lights potentially.
So when I was a kid at a Shania Twain concert out there, and I was saying, "Will you fucking marry me?" She didn't say no. She just didn't see it.
Exactly. See, I don't know if that helps you at all.
I feel a lot better.
All these, thank you,
Dylan.
Yeah, no, but it's actually really weird because when you get
I mean, that's like playing hockey with your kid. I'm going out and Wayne Gretzky come out on the ice here and pass a fucking biscuit around a little bit. Right?
Yeah,
I get it, man. I would be fucking hard as a rock.
That's the only time in my life I thought I might fucking faint.
Yeah,
really.
I'm not a fainty kind of guy. Some people do, some people aren't. But for me, I'm like, no, I'm usually pretty good. But like that adrenaline kicks so fucking hard. I got on stage, I went, God damn.
That's wild. Yeah, see, like I don't know if I'd be able to even stick handle, and I wasn't setting records in juniors, but I could handle the puck a little bit. But if I'm out there with Wayne, I would be fucking fucking the puck around all day. I think you got out there and just naturally started jamming out, huh?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's once he put the guitar on me, and I play with a guy named Dan Vapid, who was in a couple other bands called Screeching Weasel and the Riverdales, and they actually played with Green Day before they were famous.
Okay.
And the Green Day brought them on tour in the 90s. And stuff. So like he kind of knew Billy Joe back in the day and all that. And I walked up to Billy and I'm like, hey, Dan Vapid says hi, by the way, because he hasn't spoken to him in years.
Yeah.
Their lives just different ways, obviously. And Billy's like, oh, that's really cool. And it's like, here, shows me the chords. I'm like, I fucking know, dude. Come on.
That's awesome.
I mean, I've already learned the song, but too, like I watched you play it. Like, there's not a lot going on here. And so, yeah, it was just like, okay, in true Dylan fashion, which will coincide to the rest of the story. It's like, how do I take this, go from 100 to 100,000? And so that's what I did.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I'll have to link the video. It's on YouTube, and it's fun. It's fun to watch.
If you're cool with that, let's do it. I have not been to a Riverport to see a concert since I was 19. Got arrested. So I was in Maryland Heights jail before the concert started.
Who were you supposed to see?
Dave Matthews. You know who I was with?
How the hell are you all getting that rowdy at a Dave Matthews show?
Ask Eric's sister. She got me shit-faced, and I blame her. But
At fucking Dave Matthews?
So the CEO of this facility's
his
sister got you fucked up.
We both got taken to jail, and it was an ordeal that I probably shouldn't talk about on here. But
I just can't imagine. He's like, satellite.
Yeah.
Right. What? Well, no. So we were getting off the shuttle, and some cop, a bicycle cop, not a motorcycle cop, a bicycle cop came up and started like shitting on us we were 19, and I guess we looked at and was like, you guys, let me see some IDs, and then started giving us, being a hard ass on us for being minors in possession. Mm-hmm. And I said something to him about his bicycle shorts, and the next thing you know, I had the shit kicked out of me, and
that'll do it.
Thrown in the back, and it was a long night. Needless to say, we didn't see the Dave Matthews concert, but I'll let her tell that story.
Yeah.
Or did I just?
I'm not usually not normally one to like fully back the police or anything like that, because gray area, whatever have you, I don't really have any comments, but like, you made fun of his bike shorts, man.
I deserve to get it.
I can't not be pissed about that either.
Right.
So I was cooking in a kitchen at Krieger's Krieger's was in O'Fallon, Illinois. And I was working the next shift. I was working, and I was telling all my guys what happened and how I was running my mouth to the cops. And one of the cooks was like, "You can tell he's maybe had some experience in this matter." Said, "Motherfucker, I need to give you some lockup lessons." Yes, sir, and no, sir, and shut the fuck up.
Right.
I'm like, Noted. That's my eyes like swollen shut still, and yeah, took a beating, took a licking, but kept on ticking because I didn't stop drinking for about 11 more years after that.
Damn. Yeah, but that was back when they could really beat on you.
You're right. There wasn't as many cameras.
Body cams. Yeah.
Well, seriously, like, yeah, now it's like something like that happens, and it's like, not just wanting their badge, we want your head. Back then they didn't give a fuck.
I deserved every black and blue mark on my fucking face and head for that because I was a punk ass kid running my mouth and I'm sure if you get the off the record version from Eric and his sister, they will corroborate at least. So that's a great story. I mean, that I actually worked had an office in the office complex in Riverport, and I was starting to get over the PTSD. And then now you tell an awesome story about Riverport, and I just kind of went back down on being triggered because that my trauma incident at RP. But that is that's an awesome venue, and to be pulled up with he's your guy. So that's your
right.
So before this, is there beef between Blink-182 and Green Day?
No, I just read the Mark Hoppus biography though, and he said that he thinks that they hated them.
Who, Mark Hoppus?
Mark Hoppus is the bass player for Blink-182.
Okay, so all right.
Yeah, he says that he thought that Green Day hated them when they were on that tour together because Blink was kind of at the top of their game. Green Day had seen better days at that point. He goes, but after that, there was sort of like some competition, and Green Day went on to write their record American Idiot, which is probably their most successful record.
Was that about George?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, that was all about the Bush administration.
He didn't realize that. I mean, if that's the way he felt with W, that it was gonna slant a little worse for him if he's coming from that perspective.
Oh yeah, he's changed up some lyrics for the new.
Maybe he came out with a second, like a sequel album.
Well, I think that's a thing though. It's like I looked at that like after I watched the Trump stuff and went back to Idiot and re-listened to it again, and then I looked at the Bush administration. I went, this is really fucking close. You know, like looking at the landscape, and like some people have the dystopian feeling looming over the political climate going on now and back then. I'm like,
sure,
the record holds up. Like you don't have to do anything new. You just remember this. Like keep this energy. If you believe that way, and keep pushing the bounds, like a song like Holiday, as that anthem, like keep going for it.
Was he, is he, I've known him to be, like he's been on Bill Maher, but he's been a pretty left-wing, like, would you say activist? Has he been pretty outspoken?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
So, but
Billy? Absolutely.
But has that done anything to his career? I don't know. I'm asking. It's completely legit.
Probably not. It probably helps it.
Okay.
For his fans.
Okay.
But it's interesting though, because like for bands like that, and like a big band right now is it Dropkick Murphys? They're getting a lot of shit, like a lot of press for being super left wing and anti-MAGA kind of thing. And most people are like, oh, I fucking voted for Trump, but I still like them. I don't give a shit.
Which is like how it maybe should be.
It probably is how it should be.
You have good music. I mean, people do that with movies. Like, I'm not going to go see that guy's movie. I don't give a fuck. Tom Cruise is a douchebag. But I went and saw Top Gun 2.
Yeah.
Fuck. It was awesome. And I ate a bunch of popcorn doing it. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Not to get off on that tangent, but I do remember that album and him being... But I didn't know... Like, so when I think of punk rock, because Jacob, do you know anything about this shit?
Not too much, no.
Yeah, I can tell.
God damn.
But
Throw my man Jacob out there. Jesus.
Was Green Day the OG punk rock band?
Probably the OG crossover. Like, that got famous.
Crossover, yeah.
Because otherwise, like, you got...
Do you get shamed in the punk rock community if, like, those are the... Like, I like punk rock. I like Blink-182 and Green Day, and they're like, you don't know shit because you don't know the underground stuff.
Yes,
probably
110%.
Okay, it's like soccer fan guy. Like soccer fan guys like that. Like,
yeah,
you don't know the Premier League.
They
go to a city game.
They used to give me shit so much for loving Green Day, but they turn around and they didn't know that I knew GBH. I knew the MC5. I knew the not the Ataris, the Avengers. I knew Soul and Bones, and like.
I've heard of none of these.
Exactly.
But it's for a lot of people.
But it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Who cares? Listen to it. It's fucking music.
OAR got a lot of shit when they had a song play on like Y98. It was Shattered or something. They would pop.
These
motherfuckers,
song, by the way.
get them paid. Like they've been playing. Yeah, like all these people that bitch about him is like would take the paycheck.
Yeah.
I mean, and they
You're fucking A, they would.
right.
It's just something to fucking complain
It's
about.
bingo.
I hate the sellout thing unless you're like, I think MGK. You know,
Machine
if-
Gun
if-
Yeah,
Kelly.
yeah, yeah.
If you want to go the
Served
sellout
him his
route,
lunch, right?
Yeah.
but also you look at it, that guy's an entertainer. He goes
He's
like,
fucking Megan Fox.
I want so, you know, he wants to do anything he can
That's how
to
you know it.
entertain, make money.
I know
and do
everybody
his
that's-
thing.
Sorry,
Oh no, we keep tabs on his fucking Megan Fox because fuck that guy.
the guy on 90210.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him. Then Eminem kind of fucking served that MGK up for served him his lunch, didn't he?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So you started playing at 16. When did you start hitting it back in high school then when you were
Yeah.
doing your thing?
I started taking lessons like around the middle school range, and I was younger. You know, grew up on country music, still love it. And then I remember hearing like Guns N' Roses and Ozzy Osbourne for the first time, like heavy metal and rock and roll. And I went, what the fuck? No, this is really cool. And then I remember hearing American Idiot for the first time. And I heard that intro to Holiday, and I'm like, I have to, like, that was the
Yeah.
drop to be like, I have to do this now. I have to make that sound for myself.
Really?
And then I went and learned it, and I'm like, okay, cool. Now what?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then it's just like, I went through all of it. Then I learned a good chunk of Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses, and I did a couple chunks of Blizzard of Oz. Love Randy Rhoads, the guitar player on those records. And then I just kind of started just like enveloping and learning everything, listened to the blues and played a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan and stuff like that, and just went. And it's like, what is all this? And just,
So like lots of music. I mean,
yeah.
that's awesome. All right. Did you play like in grade school? When I think like grade school and high school bands at all, just to get your hands on an instrument. I remember playing the trumpet in 5th grade. And
Oh no, I never did any
it was a
music
fucking pain in
classes.
my parents hated it because I had to practice at home. I tell my 11-year-old not to get any fucking ideas, and the gal at our church will let him fuck around on the drums after the service, and I'm like, if you get him fucking hooked on that, he's playing at your house.
Yeah, like you need to fucking
Motherfucker.
quit,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
God bless you. Let us pray.
Yeah.
Declare that's to you.
Yeah.
But so you didn't even any interest in that stuff, like the horns and the.
I watched them go, and like the drummer for Safety Third and my friend Alex Black and Mikey were in band, and I talked to them about how they were doing things wrong or right, and the band instructor was this and that, and then I would like hear the band do stuff like at assemblies and everything, and they sounded good. It was a
Sure.
good band, but everything felt so damn rigid about it. It
Yeah.
felt. There's no room for it's like play these notes like this and this is
Right.
correct, when it's like, you look at somebody like Led Zeppelin that goes into a studio and they're just like, well, it's not what we had in mind, but what do you think?
Yeah.
Like it? Okay, cool, let's go. And so it's like there was no like freedom of flow for me, and I didn't realize that's what it was back then. But now, since I've learned enough and more about music and like life, I can look back and see it's like that's not how I work.
Okay.
I want, I like to work within parameters. I have like this room and this space, but like don't tell me what to do within it. Just like give me the guidelines and I'll roll.
Okay.
And it's like band was very much like, no, you have to use that corner.
Yeah.
And you can only go out that door, and God forbid you turn on that television.
It's weird how if you're in the high school band, you get bullied and labeled as a fucking geek because you love music. Maybe it's because you're not a rebellion but you're talking more of note structure, and you play what you're told to play, and that's it. And it's part of like when you're in one of those. When I think of a marching band or any type of kid that starts and picks up an instrument, there's the person with the fucking stick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's
And that never was your calling. You wanted to get out there and rock. It sounded like.
there's a fine line between, because there's not really, and I know Jeff can attest to this, there's not really a right way to do anything. There are wrong ways to do certain things, but music is about what you do with it. You only have 12 notes. You only have a certain amount of beats and measures and timbres and instrumentation. You are limited with this.
Interesting.
So it's about your perception. And now, so you're already here in this box, and someone tells you, no, now they have squished your box even farther. And for me, I'm like, that's not fucking creative.
Right.
That's control.
Yeah.
And for an extent, and I get it, when it comes to like an orchestra or something like that, there has to be some type of structure, and I understand that, but I think maybe just that application is not for me.
Okay.
Because I love hearing the Beatles when they do that big weird thing at the end of Day in the Life, and that song they just have the orchestra.
Yeah.
You know, they literally, the Beatles came in there and said without any type of, because they didn't know shit about orchestra and
Yeah.
how to play
Paul
that.
McCartney can't read music.
Yeah, none of them can.
Yeah.
You know, and they just went in there and said, hey, everybody, I want you to start at your lowest note and go to your highest note as long as you possibly can. And they were like, what?
Nice.
What are you talking about? So it's like you had like guys like the Beatles were thinking outside of that box that those orchestral musicians got put into. And
Yeah.
they challenged them.
Okay. Okay.
And so like that's how I operate. It's like I said, it's not that it's wrong or it's not that it's got to be right, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I would go to. I would go watch maybe like a Jurassic Park if the band was playing the music. And
Yeah.
haven't they done that
They
before?
do that at Powell.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
Because that type of orchestra, I mean, those songs are
Those are
they
dope.
fucking move you. I mean.
And that's like you're getting into soundscapes and soundtracks and stuff, and that's a whole different ball game, you know. 'Cause,
Right.
like you're truly trying to find the essence of that scene, you know, with musical content as well. So like, yeah, that's a way different thing for sure. I would see that too.
There's a dinosaur.
Is that what they're saying?
No, they don't say
They're coming out with a new one. They're coming out with a new one.
Do you imagine
Another one.
Bill in marketing has been tasked with putting lyrics to that. Shit, you know.
I think that's a Family Guy thing I just ripped off.
Do you so did you play in a high school, like a high school garage band?
Honestly, the Winks. It was probably my senior year. I got out more. I took lessons for a long time. I jammed with a couple people. You know, there's a group of friends that we ran around and played together. One group of friends had a high school band they're really great players. They still are. I ran around them a little bit, didn't play with them a lot, but then we started my band, the Winks, when I was probably like 18.
Okay, and
18,
that's
19, 20, something like that.
So the band you started just out of high school is the same band you're in today at 31. That's cool.
Yeah.
yeah,
pretty
because
cool.
that's what Jeff, when he sent us some information, you know, just who's going to be walking across campus and almost get tackled by the CEO.
By the way, bring your football
Right,
pads.
the Winks.
Do you have a mouth guard?
When you said that, that's the first thing I thought. If you started that play in that band a long time, I mean, 15 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. You said you're 31.
Yeah, I think about 12 is about right.
Have the Winks been? Did you guys go through, you know, on and off again type of? Did you guys ever break up, get back together? Like what does on Say by the Bell? Friends forever.
Oh, Zack Attack?
Zack Attack. Yeah.
We have always been friends, the initial three, but we all don't play together anymore. Life took the guys different ways.
Sure.
I remember Alex had a couple kids, and you know,
Square.
This literally sounds like Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams right now.
You know, oh my God, Austin basically got married too. It's ridiculous. He's not married, but you know, he's in a relationship and has a kid now, and you know, so like I've been through a lot of different players. Life has taken them different ways. We didn't get along.
Sure.
Anything, you know, you fucking name it. I've been through it.
So
I've seen it.
When did you throughout this? When did you start really drinking? And was it drinking and using? What's your vice? What was your vice?
I really started drinking more like in high school.
Yeah.
You know, we came around. You know, it was farm community town.
You grew up in
Yeah.
Outside of Highland, and
Right.
you know, people get together, you know, get drunk at a bonfire, someone's field, parents aren't home, house party, you know, the
listen
standard.
to Pink Floyd. Yeah.
That's
Comfortably
probably
numb.
more
Party
like
at the Moon Tower.
it's probably like fucking Red Atkins or some shit.
Somebody from Dazed
Yeah.
and Confused just passed away. One of the actors,
Yeah,
young guy.
I saw that.
Who was it?
He played Chet. I think his name was Chet. He was the guy that beat up the nerd at the.
Oh, I'm out of beer. I'm
Yeah.
all out of beer.
Yeah.
He died.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That's a good scene. But
Yeah.
Oh damn.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Almost Famous was one of my favorite movies, and that's
a great movie.
Yeah, you gotta love that, right? Being a music guy, I think about that because they got into it throughout that. And you like to go to concerts as much as you like to play in them? Is that normal?
It's very normal.
Okay.
I used to. I'm very much a homebody these days. I think over the years, because I've been sober, it was my date is 4321. Yeah.
Nice.
Congrats! It just had an anniversary.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, 4 years.
Congratulations.
You know, I still like smoke a cigarette, you know, and hit a vape and stuff like that every now and then.
God, a cig would get me so fucked up. Seriously, I would fucking. Well, you guys smoke cigars a lot. Even on the golf course on Saturday, we played in the charity tournament, and you guys had cigars. And I've wanted to get back into cigars, but I'm like, I'm just
throw up.
That's the thing. At first year, I was like, I don't want that like buzz sensation. Now I think I will fucking puke if I smoke a cigarette.
See, I quit smoking cigarettes. Like I said, I'll have one on occasion, not a big deal, you know, but like I used to do, you know, like what, 2 packs a week, something, not crazy heavy, but not light.
Was it a direct correlation how much you were drinking?
So I would smoke more when I drank.
Oh, sure.
You know, but like after I quit drinking, it's like, okay, well, this is, you know, at least give me this if I'm not going to be doing that sort of deal. When that finally waned down. But like, so I quit smoking cigarettes for about a week, and my buddy got married. He goes, hey, let's have a cigar, you know, whatever, like a week after or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, sure, bud. Went to his house, and we just kind of sat out back and lit him up. And I got about halfway through it, and I'm like, yeah, I feel fucking sick. I don't like this. You know, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, I smoked fucking cigarettes, man.
That's what I'm worried about.
Because I used to love cigars.
The first time, you know?
Oh, yeah. This is him telling me not to be a pussy.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Yep.
I used to love, like, I did it once or twice. There was a cigar bar down across from Flamingo Bowl downtown. And I loved going in there. I'd pick up a cigar and get like a couple fingers of Lagavulin 16. And I got to tell you, that was the fucking shit.
I don't even know what you're talking about. What is it?
Scotch.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's a scotch that Ron Swanson drank.
All right. Yeah, I was a whiskey guy. I didn't.
I liked it all.
Sure.
It didn't matter what it was. Yeah. If it
So started drinking in high school, and then I mean, I don't want to stereotype the band lifestyle too much, but you know, when I think of young bands, I think of playing a show, getting fucked up. I mean, is that pretty accurate?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because when you play in bands, especially locally, like you don't really get paid much money, but what you do get is free booze.
Yeah, you and Sean Zilla.
Yeah, me and Sean. Yeah, Sean Kenny and I, and he was in a band with Sean too.
He was born. Me and him have the same birthday. That bitch.
Oh, that's right.
Smack him around a little bit.
Yeah, he knows Sean.
I want so badly to be like, you just got called a bitch on this podcast, Sean.
Let's text him.
Yeah.
Get off my fucking birthday. I love Sean.
Fucking
He's a good guy.
poser.
He's
Yeah.
funny as shit.
Oh no, yeah, I love Sean too.
Yeah.
He especially like he liked me and everything, and you know, he's the reason why I think Jeff, you reached out to Sean about having people, and he was like, yeah, that one for sure. I'm like, oh, that makes total fucking sense because Sean has seen me a way or two.
Explain
My God.
that. Explain that. Yeah, I didn't know that. So you.
Oh yeah, so I reached out to Sean. I'm like, hey, do we know any musician friends that would be good for the podcast? Because I'm like,
Is that how you got connected to Dylan?
So I know Dylan. We're acquaintances.
Sure.
Yeah.
But Sean was like good friends with him from bands.
I'm
playing
fucking
bands.
chirping Sean, and he brokered this.
Yeah, he did. You're right.
See, I
dude.
always put my
Oh, you
foot in
act
my
like
mouth.
he's getting paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. He's
Fuck
not gonna-
him.
Right. Thanks.
Love you, Sean.
He always go, yeah, you need to get Dilly. Get Dilly.
All right, cool.
So him and then Joe from shit. What band is he from?
Joe Rowe?
The Cool. Yeah.
Coolies.
The Coolies.
Coolies and Stink Bomb.
Stink Bomb. Yeah. So Joe might come on too.
You guys, when you guys played,
I got stories with Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We should
love
have
to
done
have
together.
a couple. Yeah, that would be fun, man.
I don't know how much we would remember. I feel like we were just talking about one
Our
show.
imaginations can fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Well, I know it's funny because there's like some bits I remember and then some that he does. Like we were talking the last big show they had they used to have a house over in Dogtown called the Piss Palace.
There we go. I got this place. The walls could talk.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, right. And it was like
Piss
the last.
Palace.
It was the last big shindig. They would put shows in the basement and punk culture. That's a big.
Was
thing
it a
you
punk
do.
house?
It was a punk house.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it was.
I lived on Bell Avenue was my last drunk ass drug house, and then people started calling it Hell Avenue.
Yeah.
They called it someone. They said it smelled like piss.
Yeah,
We used to
they
get
call it a
shit
piss
faced
palace for a different
in
reason.
the basement. We'd piss in the drain instead of walking upstairs to the bathroom. Right? I mean, fuck. Drain.
It's a drain.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
Why not?
No, totally.
So I can imagine you guys had some fucking parties at this fucking place in Dogtown.
Well, I remember we did once, like a window ended up getting broken that night, and then we were out back partying, doing whatever, drinking, and next thing you know, we had a small fire in a burn pit, you know, so everything was good. Just want to throw that out there, you know. Nothing.
We had a small fire.
Yeah.
That was past tense, so I mean,
in a burn pit.
escalate.
Disclaimer. Apparently someone they threw cans on it, so it's like it started smoking or something, and so someone called, you know, fire department. Next thing you know, we're outside having a cigarette, drunk, and next thing you know, we just see it's firemen come in with the fucking hose off the truck.
Nice.
And some guy, I can't remember which one it was, someone goes, "Strippers are here!" I'm just God fucking damn it, don't do this. These guys are pissed enough.
Right. Yeah, they're going to be thrilled showing up there. And
oh, fuck.
Yeah,
they were not happy. Because the fire marshal was on call that day because it was a holiday. And so he was there.
You guys deserve to get your ass whooped like I did in Maryland High.
Yeah. I don't think anybody got beat up if I remember right. I know firemen will whoop some ass for sure. But I don't know if we got whooped. Yeah. I know I didn't. But.
They, so was there, in this culture, was there a lot of drugs around?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever partake? Or
I really liked a lot of cocaine.
Yeah,
and then I found out years later, and I don't know if I'm wrong or not, but I heard this that when you drink and do cocaine, it also becomes a separate drug within your bloodstream. They mix. I don't know if this is accurate or not. I've been told it's called cocaethylene or something.
Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie, can we pull that up?
I don't know. I just know that I loved the combination.
That's what I'm saying.
One drug and two drugs are gonna get a different high going on. So
yeah, I mean, I never.
But that's what I loved. I loved them both.
So
get 2 or 3 beers in, give me a line, and then it's
I'm glad you said that. So did you ever want to wake up in the morning and do coke without alcohol?
Not really.
Me neither. It was always a vehicle to drink more because when I did blow, I could calm my shit down a little bit.
Yeah.
Not be the drunkest guy in the room, which wasn't hard because some of the people I fucking hung out with, it was not hard, but
I mean, I still ended up being the drunkest one in the room.
So you get there, right?
Because eventually that type of cocaine, or you can't do enough blow to offset everything you've drank.
Right.
Do you recognize any of these words that I can't pronounce?
What are you on fucking Google?
Yeah.
Oh,
Cocaethylene is the
Jamie, did you pull that up?
ethyl ester of benzo. It is structurally similar to cocaine, which is the methyl ester of, I can't fucking pronounce these words, formed by the liver in small amounts when cocaine and ethanol coexist in the blood. Yeah.
I know ethanol is alcohol, so
yeah.
Interesting. Well, I mean, it did something because I fucking loved it.
Fuck yeah.
And
drinking was always the number one vice.
Yes.
It was always alcohol.
That I can identify.
Yeah. And then, it's just once you get that, for me, it even became a 6-pack in. You're like,
right.
Really, where is it now? Mm-hmm. Because before that, you're fine. But even then, drinking, without the cocaine, you're like, it's good.
Right.
It's good.
Right.
you didn't always have to have the extra party favors,
So, was there a spiral, and if so, when do you feel that it really started losing control of your intake? Because something led you to April 3rd of 21. Did I get the day right?
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1?
Yeah, because it was a Friday. It was a Friday, and I remember I woke up that day, went to work and everything. I know, and this, before we even go that far,
sure.
I feel like when I started using, it was just anything, any type of substance, or especially when 21 hit. Fucking game over. You can just get whatever you want,
Mm-hmm.
And then, you go out, you travel, you play, everyone wants to party with the touring band. And so, drinks are flowing, people buying you shots, all of that stuff. And
hours are fucked up,
hours are super fucked. We're going to bed at 4 or 5. We're waking back up at 9 or 10 to be going on to the next city, coming back home, wherever, if it's a weekend raid, or if it's one night off in Chicago, or if you're out for a week, and you have to get out of the hotel room, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
And so then, on the road, it's really a bitch, because you go to bed at 4, and then you're back up at 9 to get out, because you have to drive. The last run I went on, we had to deadhead to fucking Pittsburgh from Chicago. And you want to talk about a fucked up mess of being hungover as a dog and trying to make that drive happen.
And you guys don't have a driver
No, we
you
took
know,
turns.
okay,
Yeah, so I mean, like, I feel like we're two of us in the front. My shift was very late, so like I had coffee and everything, and I felt safe to drive.
Sure.
And all that stuff. But yeah, it's just like, revolving door sort of deal. Yeah, because there's no real driver.
Right.
We're all in a van,
So,
But then you get out there a couple days, and like you're doing that for fucking weeks on end, and next thing you know, someone comes up to the show, with a bag,
yeah,
and then it's fucking game on again,
and it's fun for a while, right? Until it's not.
Yes. Because, as much as, I really gorged on that last run I went, I really just enveloped myself in that. Just ridiculous amounts of just, night after night of straight fucked up. And, there's no structure. The only structure is be in the van, load in, be on stage, be in the van again. That's it. Everything else is you are left to your own vices. And so I remember we got to New York. And we got the invite to go to a party in Manhattan because we were playing the East Village at a club called the Berlin. And it was a fun show. It was a great show. And I'm like, yeah, I'm so hungover, and this is day 6 or 7. I'm trying to get beer down to feel better. And the beer's not even
yeah, man.
You finally get to a point to where it's like your body's not rejecting it or anything, but you're just like, God damn.
Right.
Trying to, get the alcohol in you so you can feel better again, get back up to 0.
I'd have to do a shot by that time because the beer I couldn't. I was a whiskey guy, but I'd have to quickly do whatever. And the shot sucks anyway, so I'd throw a Rumpelman's back to try to get the fucking blood flowing a little bit.
Yeah, damn it, I should have done that. If I'd have done that weekend might have turned out different for me.
Well, maybe it's a good thing you didn't.
I honestly think so because we got the invite to party, in Manhattan. Someone that came out to the show was
East
like,
Village,
hey,
that's NYU territory, I think.
Is it?
I think so, yeah.
I only been to New York for those 2 days, so it's just like it was kind of culture shock of just like, fucking cool.
Playing
food
from fucking Highland, playing a whatever. I don't care if it's in a basement bar somewhere. You're playing in New York. That's got to be pretty.
Well, the cool. Berlin too. That's an esteemed club.
Nice.
Billy Joe and Nora have a record. Nora Jones have a record called Foreverly.
She's hot. She's beautiful.
She can sing me. She'll sing me the fucking alphabet. That's for sure. God damn. But no, she's incredible. But they did a record of Everly Brothers songs, 10, 15 years ago, and so they actually did a little release party, at the Bowery Electric. But Green Day would come in to the Berlin Club, and you'd have big rock and roll acts. Hey, here's $50 a ticket, kind of hush hush. Mm-hmm. But you pack out the room and you have fun doing that sort of thing. So the Berlin is I didn't realize at the time. I'm like, this is a really fucking cool club to be in, And but yeah, no. So, it was great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Going to the 99-cent shops to get pizza, to try to soak up some booze and stuff. I got to do some real New York things while I was there. I didn't get to yell, "Hey, we're walking in." I didn't get to do that one, but
my son does that every time.
Does he?
11 years. Yeah, he's been doing it since he was 7. We got family in New York, and we go quite a bit. So
my favorite. There's a woman. She put on a video online, selfie thing. Some type of viral influencer. I don't know her name or anything. She's like, "Guys, I made it to New York City," and all of a sudden you see this guy, "Lady, shut the fuck up!" And you just watch her face drop on the camera. I'm like, "That's New York."
Yeah, welcome to New York.
110%.
It's unbelievable. Now, I was sitting at a coffee shop somewhere. I don't even know where it was, but you looked out and there was a gal on the street and somebody was taking pictures for her, and people kept, it was packed, and there's hundreds of them trying to Instagram and do the duck lips and,
how obnoxious.
show the cleavage and all that. But I not that I follow any of them.
I'm not even from New York, but still, my mentality is get the fuck out of the way.
Sure, right.
Why are you impeding people living their lives?
Yeah,
it's something. So that was it. Then when you tell us how it became. You got tired of it.
Well, I say I can remember that one specifically. That weekend, so the party I got invited to, I actually turned down, and I'm never one to turn down a party. Because it was going to be a lot of fun, more drinking, hey, a party in New York City, it would have been great. But I'm like, I finally, it's the first time in my drinking career, that's what I call it. I got to, because I'm retired now.
There you go.
I got to a point where I'm like, no, I don't think I can. I don't think I physically can do this. And so we went back to the hotel. I still had 2 more beers. But
right. I get it, man.
But it was only 2 and I went to bed. I didn't do anything else. I actually slept, like drank water, ate food, like did the things,
First time you did that in a month.
Yeah, right,
Body's like, what the fuck is this?
It's like, is this nourishment? Is this water that's not alcohol? But like, no, so like that kind of kept going, through over the years. But then when COVID hit, I would have to say, because I was still living at home at the time, I had a job, I was still working. I worked on a dairy farm. So, we didn't shut down.
That's so Highland.
It kind of is. You have people that actually do that kind of work in Highland, and then you have folks that kind of like dress like they do that kind of work in Highland. It's a little bit of both,
Highland's a very cliquey town, too.
Fucking it is.
Everybody knows who is banging who. And
oh, God, yes, it is. Everybody knows everybody.
Everybody knows everybody's male.
Yeah, absolutely it is. It is one of those towns for sure, but so like with COVID, we couldn't go do anything, do whatever, like rehearsal stopped, we tried to record a record, and everything got shut down. And so it became my old drummer, Mark, we would actually like FaceTime on the weekends and talk. And so like I would get a bunch of beer or a bottle of whiskey or something and a pack of smokes or a couple Black and Milds a night and, just sit outside and phone on the charger, because it was summertime, sit outside and, just get shit-faced and, he might drink or smoke a little weed or something or whatever. I don't know. But like, we just sit and get drunk and talk like what you would do, but just over, virtually,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were doing that. They were having virtual happy hours just to stay sane.
Yeah. And so like doing that, that really sent it in overdrive because it's just like, you don't have to drive anywhere. You don't have to be anywhere. You've got nothing to do. What are you used to? I'm used to drinking. And so it's
Were you
just
jamming out or anything too? Or did you put it down?
I play a little bit at the house, but like, we couldn't meet up with each other, for the most part up until probably 6-7 months really after they started kind of like, hey, I think we kind of got this figured out. So
that sounds about right.
Yeah, we would play. I'd play a little bit at the house, like I kind of do now. If we're not rehearsing or so, I play a little bit. But like, I think that really sent it in overdrive.
Do you write?
Yeah, I'm the main writer.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't read it and write it on sheet or anything.
Sure, no. But so like, it's a form of writing, and the reason I ask is because I just identify with writing. I used to write almost every day. Journal or sometimes creatively. But it was a self-help, self-therapy thing. So I don't know
sure.
Like, if you're writing music, is that something that you take to even now? I mean, I don't know if that's something that I identify with writing as you write.
Yeah.
You did the journals and stuff. I mean, we promote it here to clients.
Oh, sure. It's the best. It's a really fucking good therapy. I think it's also too, it's a great way to be able to get things out.
Sure.
Sometimes you don't want to talk about it. Sometimes you can't formulate the words, but sometimes, when you sit back with a melody behind it, you can kind of get stuff coming out. Like, yeah, I've definitely got songs.
That's what I imagine because I don't know how to write to music, but it's very similar. I mean, you see a lot of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can just imagine that.
It's all type of poetry.
Sure.
At the end of the day, it's like, I don't know if I'm classified to say so, but I would consider myself like more of a poet.
Okay.
To the point where it's like, I'm just lucky that I hear melodies with it.
How often were you having these virtual happy hours?
1 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
More on the weekends because
sure.
I wouldn't work weekends like because they had other people come in on the job, so it's like, hey, we'll give you some off time, sort of deal.
With nothing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just sit around and drink. I ended up. I had met a woman through like the bar culture in Highland that ended up being really we just were not good for each other. It was very. If I could have seen the situation for what it was, I think it would have changed my perception of it. I might have been okay, but I ended up getting floored. Things didn't work out the way that I anticipated, that I thought they would. That sent it into a massive overdrive.
Describe floored.
Just,
like heartbroken?
Heartbroken,
okay.
All
sure.
that stuff, really, really
leads you to self-medicate even more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's on top of what I've learned through therapy in the last 4 years of abstaining. I learned so much about myself as to why I was even in that first spot in the first place.
Gotcha.
You know, so now everything makes fucking sense to me, you know. But I met her, and there was a couple months, like almost a summer fling, I guess, if you will. And then she ended up leaving town completely. No idea where she's at, whatever. You know, I do hope the best.
Sure.
You know, because I know, you know, without saying too much, like, you know, her situation was not good and mine wasn't either, you know, back then.
Yeah.
I actually ended up working extra and saved up money, moved to St. Louis.
Okay.
Towards get like the halfway maybe ish through the pandemic. And then I was here for about 4 months when finally, I guess there was like an exhaustion, being like sleep deprived, not enough water, dehydrated, just all of these things that make you feel terrible physically, mentally. It finally kind of broke to where I got to a point where I'm like, I don't want to fucking be here anymore. I don't want to be on this fucking planet. Like, you know, I feel like maybe I've seen everything, or it's
Really?
just, it's getting to a point
You got
where
pretty low.
yeah, very, very low. I tell the story sometimes, but this will be a good, like, you know, across the whole board. If you really want to hear it, jump into this podcast, you know. Some friends of mine, we were actually doing kind of like the FaceTime talkie thing back in Highland, and I was living over here. I was living by myself in Maplewood, and they ended up calling a wellness check
Really?
on me.
Good friends.
Yeah, they're
I mean it.
because I remember I was drunker than shit, and they were like, "What's your address?" And I'm like, "What do you want to know that for?" Oh, we're gonna send you, and they ended up, you know, getting married and everything. Well, we'll send you a wedding invite. We're just thinking about it. You know, it's completely pulled one over on me because I was, you know, hammered.
Were you threatening self-harm?
Yeah, so I lived on a 3rd-story apartment building, and my thought was like, part of my thought was like, you know, I'm just throw myself off this fucking thing. It's a concrete pad on the bottom, but I'm like, also my fucking luck, you know, I won't land the right way. and then I'm gonna get hurt. Yeah, I'm gonna get hurt bad.
That's not
too.
your intention. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I want to be gone, I'm trying to be gone here. I'm not trying to, you know, make shit worse.
Right.
You know, now I feel terrible. I'm laid up in a hospital bed, and now I can't drink. Yeah, fuck me. So they called a wellness check. I remember my friend told me, "Hey, go downstairs to your first door. Cops are there." I'm like, what? Cops are doing here for? And like I was like kind of like crying and shit too at this point and stuff like that. Just kind of being not. I wasn't like. I don't just like just very upset. You know, I don't know if I would say distraught, or maybe that would be the right word. But I will never forget. I happen to remember this, that a switch flipped in me, and I'm like, oh, this is funny now. Don't know what the hell. I'm like, fucking cops are here. Goddamn. All right, I'll go talk to him. So I'm on the phone with my friends, and I go down, and I talk to the cops, and he goes, hey, can I see your phone? I want to talk to the people that called. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the cops saying, it's like, well, he doesn't seem belligerent or crazy now, you know. So I talked to him for a minute, and they said, well, hey, you know, you don't have to come with us because, you know, to our... the way we view you right now, you're not a harm to anybody or yourself for how you're acting, how we've been seeing you and observing you. But if you do want to come with us, you know, we'll, you know, pull the ambulance up, and, you know, we can take you in and get you checked out. Maybe if you feel like you need some help, you know, we can do that tonight. And I sat there for a couple seconds, like, you know what? Yeah, let's go.
No shit. You said
yeah.
yes.
Believe it or not. I said yes.
Fucking A, man.
And so they took me. I was just down the street from one hospital. They took me there for intake, you know, take vitals, blood,
Right.
blah, 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 all that stuff. And then I went over to DePaul,
Uh-huh.
I think, over in Bridgeton.
Probably
Yep.
DePaul, yeah.
Yeah, and it's normally a 72-hour.
Yeah.
I met with the psychiatrist twice, and I was only in there for 2 days. Because I woke up, so I woke up the
And
first...
I mean, it's voluntary at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
Yeah,
This is. I'm really.
I told you it's going to get wild.
Well, I've been to. I've had to send wellness checks. I've been on the other end of the phone trying to help tell people they can do a wellness check. It's always worth it, but there's so little that the cops can do,
Right.
and the ambulance can do if Dylan's not ready to go. So
Right.
like, I don't know the last time I heard somebody say I took them up on it. Like, that is fucking ballsy. I mean it. I appreciate you sharing it. That is good. I mean, you hear it people fight it. They get pissed at the people they called.
Oh, I was fucking hot. I remember that. Sure. I was just like, hey, I need to make some phone calls because they obviously take your wallet, all your stuff, when you get checked in. I'm like, hey, I don't remember numbers. Can I get my phone for a second to call? And they're like, yeah, sure, it's fine. I'll come back in a minute. Just write the numbers down and you'll call from the phone.
Right.
So I just ended up shooting a few messages just to let some people know. I was like, by the way, one of you fucks is paying for this fucking shit.
Sure.
That's literally
fair.
What I said.
They'd be they're probably like, great. We'll pay fucking every dollar just so you're safe tonight.
That's essentially what was said, too. And I'm just like, I remember because when I finally, like, sobered up and, like, got, became unhungover, finally worked through it and recovered. I was just like, I was a dick.
Yeah, but you know what that is? It's not necessarily like the chemical getting out. That's the clarity that you start to get.
Yes.
And I've been there so many times, we see it here in detox when people start thinking clearer.
Yes.
Really, I mean, pretty quickly after a couple days after you get this shit out of your system and that's what that was, I think, is clarity. And able to be like, man, I fucked up.
Well, I woke up my first morning, so I got, in the afternoon, spent the day there, kind of like got feet on the ground, at this voluntary center, psychiatric.
It's a
intake.
Yeah, psych.
I mean, because there's
Mercy has a psych. I mean, they all. I mean, I don't think they all do, but
no, they're.
DePaul definitely.
DePaul does over here.
We
there's another one, I can't think of the name of it, but
I mean, we get a lot of calls and know the folks at a lot of the hospitals because
sure, of course,
they stabilize and then offer. We have a place you can go to get treatment. I mean, it is. I don't know any of the stats, but I do know that a lot of people that end up in those 72-hour holds are there because they've been self-medicating, and the self-medicating got out of control.
Yeah,
and
right.
How do we?
Well, I'm sure it's like over half of them at least.
Right.
More than half.
Yeah. I'm glad you said it because I didn't want to
I don't know the statistics either, but
number.
it has to be.
It has to be.
I would say 60% might be like a low.
The last time I had to do a wellness check, it was as clinicians call it SI, Jacob, suicidal ideation.
There you go. Good job.
As possible from the phone call to me, but multiple people still had to go down to the hospital to sign affidavits because that was the only way they could mandate a X amount hour hold.
Yes,
right.
Because that person was not wanting to stay, and then finally they stayed and did get some help. But it's really fucking hard. There isn't any forced institutionalizing anymore, really. I mean, it's really hard, and it's scary for like if it's a loved one that doesn't want to help or is really sick, and you're begging people to help them, and it's an adult and their hands are tied. It's a systemic issue, big time. So I mean, I've this might be the first time I've heard somebody say, "Yeah, I took them up. I thought about it, and I said I'm gonna go." Like that. Yeah, you must have been feeling it then, even.
Well, I think when I woke up the first morning, I out of the hangover, I woke up in that bed, and I just went, "What the fuck, dude? Like, look where you're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what have you been doing the last few years, even months up to this point? What got you here?" And then you realize, you start making connections, and I was like, it's fucking alcohol. Like, you're literally the definition of insanity right now. You are repeating the same thing, the same process, and expecting a different result and for things to get better or to make them better. But it's not fucking working. And finally, I mean, like, I'm a stubborn son of a bitch. I just, you have to kind of, some things you have to really beat into my head. It's like, well, okay.
Sure.
And that's finally what that was. I finally, the final smack across the face was like, this is where you're at now, and like it can be worse than this.
That's humbling, right?
Yeah,
that realization.
And I just went,
in a fucking psych ward.
Yeah. And I went, because anybody that goes through that doesn't think, oh, it's not going to be me, or I'm not going to do that, or whatever, And then next, you're like, well, I'm here now, and you're like, okay, that's what this is. This is where it leads, and it can keep going. And I'm like, I'm fucking done. Like literally can't keep living like this. So I met with a psychiatrist there, and is like, how do you feel? And I'm like, I don't want booze anymore. Like, I'm fucking over that. I remember I looked at him and said, you could put a bottle of scotch on the edge of that desk. Like, I just don't want anything. I don't want it. Like, it's led me here. Not that I'm, not like, oh, fuck you, get away from me, you're weird or anything. I was like, it led me here. I don't want to be here. And
sure,
there's a potential for this to happen again and get worse. And I'm like, I'm done. And then he asked me and goes, well, do you think staying in here longer than 72 hours will benefit? So, no, I feel like I made up my mind. In order for me to really do what I need to do, I need to get out of here. And because everything that I now understand is about me implementing it in the real world. And so they let me go after 48 hours. And I remember I got back to my apartment, and a friend of mine lived across the street and saw me getting dropped off. Because, like, I disappeared for fucking 2 days. Some
right.
the folks
Yeah.
like, not everybody.
Most people they don't know where you are.
So some people did, but not everybody.
Yeah.
What about family? Are
So
you close-
family knew.
Close with family, parents around? I mean,
family's back in Highland. I've always, and like now, especially now after all these years, like I realized I was never super close to my parents.
okay.
It's just sure. That sort of thing, I called my dad. I was talking to my dad while I was on the way here.
Okay.
But like it's just not, there's just not, like I see people, fathers with their sons, and they're such a different thing.
Sure.
And I'm like, I know I don't have that. Can't say I'm envious or I don't feel a certain way about it. I understand that's my card, it's my dealt, that's my family, it's my hand. It is what it is. I felt like my mom and I kind of went rounds a lot. I don't want to paint them out as bad people by any means, because they're absolutely not. But there was a lot of things going on at home. I look back now and I'm like, this was not correct.
You said it, the work you've done these past 4 years. You said it earlier that it's starting to make sense on what.
Oh yeah.
Why alcohol felt so good?
Yeah.
And then until it didn't, people always forget that we learn in like their first DARE class that it's a depressant, and when we're depressed, we try to cure it with more depression, which is fucked up. But we all do it. I did it.
But that's why we do cocaine, to make us happy.
There you go. Right. You
gotta,
uppers and downers, baby.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But you know what I hear in your story, the common theme, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but I hear exhaustion. I hear. You said it a couple times that you were exhausted from it, and then I do hear some loneliness.
Sure. And
I remember listening to it was a sermon at church. I think he said that it was talking about addiction, actually, or maybe I just hear everything that he says, and that filter, right, because it's pretty fucking applicable.
Sure.
And he said that he read that somewhere that addiction. And alcoholism, it starts in a group but ends in loneliness.
Yeah,
it starts in community and it ends in loneliness.
Damn.
Yeah.
No, it's exactly what it is.
And I was like, God damn, that is right. And I did say probably, God damn, sure. But then obviously recovery starts in loneliness and ends in community, or it gets to community, and that's shit we talk about every week or every day here. Is about building a community, working groups that for people that really, really want a shot at a sustainable, joyful life in recovery.
Yeah.
But so those are the two common things I hear as you're telling your story, and I know we all like to have a lot of fun with it, but there's some serious, darkness in there which is why that the alcohol or the drug, it hits us differently. And
absolutely.
And that's what I heard.
It takes it away.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
I can look back, I was picked on a lot, not the, I don't know if I was just a goober, a good target or whatever, but like even to the friend groups, like I can see back in my memories and like, there's razzing on your friends and then there's taking it to another level. And I felt like through any of the friend groups I had, more than not, it was always over the top with me. Always. And like, like when it comes to like fun, like a relationship, it's like, you get kind of hit that way, like in your friend group so much, you don't ever really think anything of yourself. And like for a long time, I was just like, well, no one's ever going to fucking, like, hey, there's the guy right there. Let me go talk to him. Like, you're never going to be like good looking enough, and you're never going to have enough to offer. And like, so like everything that gets said compounds over the years. And so it's like, yeah, you find yourself like, I watched a lot of my friends at the time were pairing off, as people do, getting married, starting families, buying houses, moving, jumping to bigger careers, and like I got really left behind, and that was another big part of it too, and then I would go home to the stuff at home too, and it wowould compile, and this is through grade school, this is through middle school, high school.
Siblings?
One brother,
Okay.
one older brother. He, and he goes through his stuff too. He's always needed more attention than I have over the years. And he got it. And I also think that's kind of a big thing, even at home, it's just like, you would try to give your kids like a bunch of attention and stuff, but like it was always, my brother always had, stuff going on with him, and he needed more help.
Okay.
And,
Sure.
I kind of view it as where it's like, well, I'm sustainable on my own. You don't have to worry about him. He's fine. So it's like,
I've heard that before.
Didn't get that sort of thing either, So it's like years of that too. You're just like, well, what the fuck am I really worth here?
So the psych ward is that your April 3rd date?
Yes.
Okay.
That was on the Friday that I went in. So I went to work, did everything, and I'm like, I'm not feeling too tired. I'll go have a drink or something, see how I feel. And then I ended up getting shithoused because it's just when you're an addict, it's what you do.
Right. You just had one.
And I remember going home and it's like, okay, I'll go over to went over to Schlafly Bottle Works. I'm like, I'll go have a few. And it's like, 4, 3, 2, 1. I bet something's gonna happen today.
Oh wow,
motherfucker! I mean, literally verbatim is what I said before I started drinking that day. And I woke up the next morning and went, God damn it,
something did happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Time ran out.
But honestly, it's the honest truth completely. I haven't slipped one. I haven't, gone to a liquor store, 7 miles out of the way where I wouldn't know anybody and bought a shot. Nothing. I have fucking stone cold.
You still in Maplewood?
Stood there. Yeah. Okay. I'm
Okay.
actually getting ready to move south, just south of the city, Bellevilla over there, like Lime area.
Okay.
Here by the end of summer. But yeah, I mean, I'm really sad to leave Maplewood because goddamn,
It's a fun community. Yeah.
fucking love Maplewood so much. Yeah,
I love it. I've lived over since I grew up here in Belleville, but lived in Webster.
Yeah,
Since I was sober, and spent a lot of time in Maplewood. A lot of fun restaurants and bars that can you go to bars? Do you go? I mean, you play shows in bars, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have. The only stipulation I really have when I go out is usually by about 10 or 10:30, I'm gone.
Tired, bored, and fucking annoyed.
Tired, bored, fucking annoyed. I can't.
Didn't mean to steal your. I mean, I
You got it.
see you, brother.
Exactly. You already knew where this is going.
It's unbelievable. People start repeating the stories. They tell you the same thing. You're like, I gotta go.
Well, because you notice when you go out and don't drink, about 10:30, you'll watch that room flip over. On a Friday, Saturday
you can
night,
see it.
you
Yeah.
can fucking see it.
The whole
You can-
vibe will change. Yeah, the
Is
air's
that-
thicker.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
You're the change, Jeff.
You do. You watch, the people, from about 8 to 9:30 or whatever are fun. They're a little loose and,
Right.
and it's, whoo, we're having a good time and laughing. And then, somewhere around 10:30, give it 10 to 11, all of a sudden they just start getting a little bit more sloppy. They start taking a little bit longer to talk. Maybe they, they go to the bathroom a little bit longer or something. It's like everything just starts and just like, God damn. Okay, not again.
Time
Not
to go.
again. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm good. Like, hey, you guys are having fun.
And you don't have to take an Uber. You just get in your car and go home.
Exactly.
So
It's
nice.
beautiful. But yeah, it's like, everyone's having their fun. If they can kind of go out and get that drunk and handle and hang, that's completely their thing. As long as they're safe and doing their thing and they feel like they can handle it. I don't judge anybody to do whatever they
Sure.
want because that's their business. Like I know and through sobriety, I've learned that I'm in control of me, and that's it. And that's fine.
Sounds like a prayer wheel kind of say in recovery. Serenity prayer.
and I'll even throw you another loop. I have only been to one meeting.
Yeah, Jeff had mentioned that you haven't done, which is fine. I think there's a lot of different ways, and Bill W. says that AA's a way, not the only way. Some fanatical AAers may need to remember that. But...
I don't think he ever said that, but
Oh, he didn't? I thought that was in the book.
I don't know.
I thought it was in a book.
I've only read the basic text, not big book one.
He said it's a way, not the only way.
Did he say that in the book?
I don't ever read it.
Jamie, look it up.
Yeah, Jamie, can we look
Jamie, pull it up, please.
Because I went to this one meeting. It was like a youth. It was a certain age meeting. People closer to my age.
Young people in recovery or something like that.
Yeah, it was
AA has
sanctioned.
a lot of those.
Yeah, it was sanctioned through AA, but it was just like, hey, 25 through 35 or something, And I went and I had met some woman walking in. I'm like, hey, by chance, are you here for the meeting? I'm trying to find my way. She goes, yeah, it's right over here. She goes, this is your first time here? I said, this is my first time in a meeting, period. And she looked at me and goes, how long have you not drank for? I said, about 3.5 years. And
I was going to ask
her
you.
fucking jaw hit the floor.
Really?
She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I just quit.
Don't judge me.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think it was even a judge thing. They were just like, God damn. Like, wow. I think it was a wow factor moment for that particular person.
I didn't work
because I didn't realize how ridiculous that is. Honestly, for people that quit.
I get that. I didn't work in a 12-step program. Mine was a church.
Like not going to meetings and stuff like abnormal. When it comes to recovery, not many people can make it without meetings. Right. Or some type of structure.
I advocate.
Right.
I'm a big advocate of it.
Pondoff is a good example, but he had like church.
It wasn't like where the church where they prayed the gay out of you. It was a church that I do this small group, and the small group happened to have some people in there that were in recovery. Like elderly people I just became friends with, but it wasn't even recovery based, and the guy that led it became a good accountability. This group had accountability for me, and that's what I needed. I
gotcha.
Needed accountability. But it wasn't like there's some real churches out there that will try to beat shit out of you, and it wasn't that at all. So
yeah.
This was more that would but I tell people this often, I share it with my wife all the time, that for the first maybe 3 years. What the fuck is so funny? You guys looking at some?
This is serious, you guys.
I'm gonna start crying.
You kind of ignore them, so
they heard it. In my briefcase, jack off, I had a print off of all the AA meetings.
Fuck.
These guys.
Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, that's all right.
You're seen and heard, bud.
See, I didn't even really have like a community, so to speak.
When you didn't go to treatment, you just had the psych ward.
I went in there and I came out and I'm like. My mind changed. Mm-hmm. It was a full flip of like the switch in my brain flipped off and I went no. I just went fucking no. I'm good. That's it. Like I'm tired of this. I'm putting my foot down for me.
Have you met anyone else in recovery that since you've been sober that you bounce things off of, or do you just live your life? And
I feel like I do Joe Rowe a little bit, because I don't go out much, so I don't see a lot of people. And our friend Jared, another band in town, he quit drinking about a year before I did, if I remember right. Okay. Something, or maybe 2 or 3 or 4, something like that. He'd been in it for a minute, I would, when we get together, we kind of talk and check in.
Sure.
Because like Jared's like real successful with a little boy and a wife and everything, and has a job he really loves. He's very into what he's doing. Joe, I think he's working on a good career. I can't remember exactly what he's doing now.
I don't know,
but I know he's definitely on his path that he enjoys and stuff like that. So the two guys I would say that I do talk to and I bounce off of. It's not very often, but we're just like checking, hey, what's going on, dude? Good to see you. What you been up to? Mm-hmm. But yeah, not even on a weekly or a monthly basis. I just like when I quit drinking, I took a few months because I was like super fucking broke at the time too, so it's like it was really hard to go out and do anything. I didn't have like Wi-Fi or TV in my apartment, and I would pass the time. I had a 9-to-5 job. And I would get off of work, I would make food for myself, and that's where I started like meal prepping and stuff like that. I'm like, I have extra time, energy, like what can I do to better myself? So I started eating better, and then I would flip on like a YouTube free movie.
Nice.
And like Kinda, because they have some real shitters on there.
Oh, yeah?
Have you ever seen a movie called Atomic Tornado?
No.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it sounds exactly like what it is. They literally have shots. The premise is that a tornado is coming for a nuclear power plant in Tennessee, and every now and then you would catch a shot. As the tornado's coming in, they had a tree outside of like a concrete structure. And so to show like the bum, bum, bum that's coming, it would just show this tree just fucking blowing.
At a low budget.
Yeah, super low budget.
SLC Punk is on there for free.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I need to rewatch that.
Good movie.
Yeah. I want to see number 2.
It's so good it has a sequel.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
But I took a lot of time because I did read. A friend of mine gave me a small book of AA, and I checked it out. I read it, and it said, if I remember right, like, you know, it's a good idea to take time away when you're new to it. You know, kind of like draw back within to yourself, maybe take some space, and really just kind of regroup and refocus. And I did that. I stayed home. I ate food. You know, I drank water or whatever.
Yeah.
And I slept. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently it's this thing you need.
Right.
And it doesn't also have beer in it, contrary to popular belief.
Yeah.
And so like that's what I did for quite a few months. I just, you know, I would talk to people and everything, and like go out to work and like go out to some functions, but for the most part, I'm like,
Yeah.
I just like I was crawling in the bed at like 8 or 8:30 at night and just sleeping, you know, and just like getting rest that I hadn't had for years. And stuff like that. I took a good chunk of, I think 2021. Yeah, 21. And I fucking rested. You know, I just
Making up for lost time.
A full
for sure.
reset, you know.
So
Well, what's interesting too, I'm sorry to jump in. If you
Please
watch this Green Day video, like Dylan was like fat.
Oh yeah.
what an asshole.
Well, I'm fat. I get to say that. No, but he lost a lot
I
of
don't think
weight.
you can say that in like even
You're not allowed to anymore.
Workplaces
No, you
anymore.
can't.
I think
Well,
it's all
this isn't-
HR. If you
We don't work here.
not at all, but body image
He's
issues.
like, fuck you, loophole.
Yeah. No, but Dylan, like, you should see the difference in like physical appearance. Like, it's crazy. And it's,
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
that-
I'll
so
find a picture while we're talking.
did
Because I look at this shit every now and then.
Yeah, you gotta
know
be
what I
like,
mean?
yeah. I look
when
different.
did you start playing music again and after you stopped drinking? That's one question I have for you. And the other question I have for you is when do you think you started like finding joy again sober?
I think my first show back was like a month.
Okay.
You know, so I kind of like, you know, besides taking some like a week or two off to be like hope,
Yeah.
you know, I think I was back in the saddle. You know, because like that's the one thing I never left. I kind of had to learn how to perform again a little bit. You know, because like when
Sober,
when you're on stage, you're kind of fucked up. You know, it kind of takes certain
That's
things
how
away.
I felt when I started getting laid again.
See, that's the thing too. I saw after about 3 or 4 months, I met a woman through the band and we dated for a couple months, and you know, I was like, this is the first time that I'm gonna have like sober relations. I think legitimately, you know, and I'm just like, oh shit,
fuck.
yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
think about that, you know.
Sorry, hon. It's over. It's over.
Yeah, it didn't matter that much.
You're smoking a cigarette already? Yeah.
That's
Great.
Yeah, so
Anyway,
good.
I'm getting a little too TMI here. Do I do that on this show?
I mean, that's the point of
Yeah.
it, right?
So.
Hey, you said no
Every episode,
holds
No
barred,
holds
right?
barred. Yeah.
There you go. That's a picture of Dan Vapid and I from Dan Vapid and the Cheats.
You're in the red?
Yes.
Yeah, man. A little portly.
We can show the class.
So how much weight did you lose?
I'm sure you already seen him.
Yeah,
I'm sitting around 80 pounds.
Lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pure bloat.
Yeah, I had
your
that
phone.
big time.
Oh.
I remember it just started falling off, and then I plateaued, and I was talking to my primary care physician who helped get sober, and I was always, still am, good about going to see her. She's beautiful too.
God damn.
She's my Indian goddess.
I wonder why you're so good at going to see her.
Right. She's got small fingers. I'm just kidding. I shouldn't say that.
Hey, if you need a colonoscopy.
Now, last time I had a prostate exam, the doc had both his hands on my shoulders. Sorry, I'm here all night. That's a Tom Pondoff original.
Also, he looks over and goes, "Oh, hey, by the way, I lost a ring."
Shit. Anyway, what was I saying? Fuck. Oh yeah. So I was like, yeah, I lost weight. She's like, you're looking great. She was so proud of me for getting sober. It's like 2 months in. And I'm like, I kind of stopped losing weight. And she's like, well, what do you eat? And I go, well, I'm eating really good. I go, but
some roast beef, a chicken, some pizza.
I got my sweet tooth after I stopped drinking. And every night it was the Blue Bunny frozen yogurt, but I was throwing about 6 scoops of fucking peanut butter on it every night. She's like, I'll tell you if you cut back on that, not saying not to have it, I bet you'll lose a lot more weight. And I did, and I lost a lot of weight. But, everybody needs a vice. I wasn't, waking up next to toothless fucking meth heads because I had too much peanut butter. Or wrapping my car around a fucking tree.
Could you even help if somebody ends up next to a toothless meth
She wasn't toothless. She had dentures.
because of peanut butter? That's better. Can you even help that person? Because fucking peanut butter, shit.
Yeah.
That's a tough one to give up.
Yeah, right? So I try to keep, though, that I still love a good frozen yogurt with peanut butter on it. And well, try to do that once or twice a week.
Well, I do indulge.
Is that too much?
Too much.
Once or twice a week? You're fucking laughing at me. Like
I'm laughing because it's just
pig.
no. I'm laughing because it's the simple joys, right?
It is, baby. That's what I mean. Like, so when did you start getting joy back?
I would say probably a few months to a year after I started therapy.
Fucking clinicians. It's just like a shout out to Chaz, to Ashley, all your people, Jacob. Jacob dogs clinicians sometimes.
I've never once ever dogged a clinician.
Never once.
Keep that out, Jeff. I got a lot of staff that'll be mad at me.
No, fucking shit. A strike.
Yeah, so I quit drinking, was doing the thing, living life, and I'm like, I don't, I still feel a certain way. Still don't feel good. Still, like, really everything's kind of gray, all of that stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I need to find, I'm going to start making phone calls, therapists that are around me.
Dylan, did you ever see a therapist before this?
I did one time.
Like one session?
Yes.
Not one sustainable period of time. You went
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, literally one session. And I just don't think I clicked with that particular therapist, which makes sense to me now. And so I went to a therapist in St. Louis, and I got lucky. So
I want to unpack this just a little bit. So when you went the one time, when was it in relationship to you being sober?
That was somewhere 2018, 2019, I think.
Okay.
I went to the first and only session with the first therapist.
I bring this up because this is I hear this a lot.
Important, yeah.
That when people, because I'm such a fucking advocate for it. But it's like a psychotropic med almost. So somebody's on a Wellbutrin, it might work for them, but it may not work for Jeff. It may not work for Jacob, but it works great for me. And when you have to try those types of meds for depression or anxiety, the first one doesn't work, then somebody will give up. And it's the same thing. I hear a lot of people like, yeah, I tried a therapist, I didn't like the person once. Well, call another try it. That's what I say.
Right.
Call another therapist, try them out. If they don't work, call the third one, and you'll find somebody eventually. And I have that conversation with people a lot that tried it out one time, didn't like the person, didn't click, but then didn't get back on the bike, went and just gave up that process. And I think they're doing them a disservice. So that's why I'm asking had you seen, and now you're saying you started feeling joy again, A, sober, and B, working with a therapist.
And I think my first therapy session with the first therapist too, because I was still drinking and using.
Sure.
So I don't think I was probably ready for it,
or being super honest. Maybe
I think I was being honest, but still, it's like I think I had the intention of wanting to scale back or whatever. Like, oh, I know I can. That's one trope is like, oh, I'll just not do as much or something. But
Jacob hears that a lot from people that
it almost never happens.
Yeah, I won't use heroin on the week during the week, just on the weekends.
Only after 9 p.m.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
just for like a year long.
Right.
just a little bit of heroin for the rest of my life. It's fine, you know.
I did that. I saw a therapist after my old man died when I was at rock bottom, and it was about to slow down drinking. And the reason I brought up the honesty, because I lied to this, and then she knew I was fucking lying to her face. I never told her. I never told my doctor either how much I was actually drinking. And if you can't tell them, and it wasn't because I don't remember how much exactly. Like I would tell them I have 2 or 3 drinks a night. Bull fucking shit. I was at 2 bottles, 2/5 a night. No way would I tell them that.
Wow.
You know, so that's where that honesty, because I also hear people that break up or don't like their therapist because they're not telling them the truth about whether it's too hard. But that's like lighting a match to your money. I think if you're going to go see a therapist and pay for a therapist, fucking be honest with them. So
no, absolutely.
I didn't mean to assume that's what you were doing, but I just hear it.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Well, let's say I feel like when I was ready to do it, you know, after, you know, I stone cold, like I'm done with substances, like now I'm at a place where I think I can actually take this information, I can actually do some real reflection and look in and really start getting some answers and, you know, about what's going on, why it's going on. And I got lucky with the therapist that I called, scheduled, you know, the consultation call, like, hey, what are you feeling? What are you doing? You know, can I help you? And she goes, well, I can do, you know, you particular. My therapist is like very centered and family oriented. So it's like, okay, so like I'm in her wheelhouse.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and we had the first session. I'm like, no, cause like she's closer to my age than the first one I saw. And so it's like she had seen everything like pop culture to life and then outside of it, you know, like beyond it too, at an older age, more advanced than life. So like a lot of the same experiences and the same time frames, but also beyond it as well. So I just kind of felt like she's close enough age-wise to understand exactly what I'm talking about, being in touch with who I am as an adult, and also how she can see the future. She has a future past my age range and like what she's
perspective,
been, right? More perspective. Yeah, that's the whole thing I've been looking for there. And I got lucky. You know, I think I've been seeing her for 2 years.
So you've been seeing her for a while now. Good for you.
Yeah, I went, you know, it was twice a week when I first started to really get some stuff down. And then because I started understanding more, and when you start understanding, you start being able to like, you know, really feel it, understand it, or just kind of like actually let it soak into you. I was able to have some conversations with my parents because of it, be able to let some things go, and then
good for you, man. That's heavy shit.
I'm just like, I never thought I was gonna get there. Like I still like now I can think about it, and it doesn't like piss me off or freak me out. I'm like, yeah, you know, it is what it is. That's there. I can't change that. Again, the only thing I can do is what's coming up.
Sure.
You know.
So, yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, because it's one of the tools that I advocate for people. Jacob, we always kid, but you know, the biggest component of opening this place was his family therapy program and having clinicians on staff to start helping with when people start feeling their fucking feelings again. And then we advocate for it, you know, find a therapist and you get out when you graduate, do the outpatient program, who's led by our clinical director is a really top-notch therapist. So I mean, it is so fucking intertwined and important to not just treat the symptoms of, you know, the disease, but what's underneath.
Yeah, exactly where it's coming from.
So what would you tell someone, and I'll get into some music stuff here in a second, but someone that's really listening to this and they may not be drinking the 2/5 a night, but they're feeling fucking tired and they're just getting lonelier and lonelier by the day because of their alcoholism. And what would you tell them what the other side looks like?
Oh, the other side is absolutely no question better. It's a bitch. Amen. It's a motherfucker for a little bit, you know, and I feel like I had a pretty easy road when it came to the...
And you were in a psych ward, brother. Don't give yourself a little credit. Well, seriously.
Yeah,
Some people do. I mean, it looks different for everybody, but I mean, that's a rock bottom, man. I mean, when I hear it was an aha moment. Some people call it a God moment, where you're at there, but that is a big moment and a pivotal, and the way you told the story.
Well, I will tell you, the biggest kicker, too, is after about a year of seeing the therapist, I started hitting a point to where I couldn't get better again. I kind of plateaued, and I'm like, hey, what do you think about medication now? Because I'm like, I want to see what I can work through.
Sure.
What can happen before that? And she goes, I think now is the time. So I got set up with a psychiatrist.
Okay.
So now I do like a 25 milligram of Zoloft generic.
Right. Yeah.
And then like a 10 milligram hydrocodone. God.
Wait, we're not gonna let you leave.
We need to talk.
Yeah, actually,
Jacob's
this is over. I'll see this here. Oh, dude, what the fuck, really? No, hydrogezine.
Okay, what's that? I don't know.
That's like the anti-anxiety.
Okay,
I think if I remember right, but yeah, it's a tiny little bugger. But yeah, I just take 25 milligram of the.
How long have you been on these?
About a year.
So you've noticed a good difference.
Oh God, yeah. I was gonna say the medication. So I first got on that over the weekend. I was on a Wednesday, and my psychiatrist goes, "Okay, we call me if you need anything, but it's gonna take. I'll see you in 2 weeks, but it's gonna take a few days for it to really set in." It started kicking in on like Friday, Saturday, and I think I slept like 30 hours that weekend.
But not out of depression.
I was just fucking tired.
Okay.
I think I realized that I was such a tight wound ball of anxiety, and then the anxiety started into like anything sad pulls that straight down. So then it ramps up depression so hard.
Jeff sound familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's him and I. We talk anxiety war stories. That's the one thing Jeff does really resonate with. Is the mental health game and the anxiety.
Well,
and
see,
he's shared it a couple times that his diagnosis, I can never pronounce it. I always say syphilis, and he said that's not it.
Cyclothymic.
No, sorry, cyclothymic. But it is say it. It's if you don't mind. I always out you
it's
on
bipolar disorder, but like a kiddie roller coaster.
So
instead of the huge highs and the huge lows, it's more like.
But
it's still cyclical. Like,
for years, you were beating your head up against an anxiety, very anxious.
Yes.
You would write about it, you would share about it, you did a podcast on it, but you kept fighting and saying, "How do I get
like anxiety medicines would work for a minute, but not for long."
Because we've talked about Xanax and stuff before and how dangerous that is.
Right.
Popping bars ain't good for nobody.
Yeah. I mean, and it just depends because I still have Xanax that I take, but it's as needed and I'm able to control it. You know what I mean? And I think that's the big difference, right?
I have it in my briefcase in my car. I haven't taken a Xanax in 10 years, but I have it on me. It's like a warm blanket.
Yeah.
I mean, it's created to get you through a big T trauma grief funeral. That's how I tell people. You're supposed to take Xanax if you're like trying to get through the worst funeral you have to get through.
Yeah, I'm like not
for 5 days.
Obviously, I'm not like a freaking psychiatrist, but if your psychiatrist is like, here, take Xanax every day, I don't know about that.
Yeah, what do you think, Jacob?
I hate Xanax, but Chris, you're right. Like that's made for like one event. It's gonna be super anxiety filled. That's it.
Intensity.
Yeah, but instead they give it to people, 3 times a day, every single day for resurrection.
I take
it is. It's the same as alcohol. Like
so
Xanax
addicting.
is very much like the same chemical that it does in your brain, and what your brain experiences is the same thing as drinking alcohol. That's why I use a benzo for like detox
to taper down.
Yeah, to taper down. So Xanax and benzos are very much it's alcohol in a pill form.
And cold turkey from Xanax can be fatal.
Oh, because it's the same as alcohol. It's the same thing as quitting Xanax or whatever. It's the same as quitting alcohol. You get the same exact withdrawal symptoms. It's the same thing.
Which
it's like Adderall and meth.
And I don't think people know that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think people know that, and that's the thing that people get hooked on that.
Right.
Like I'm not a big fan of the guy, but Jordan Peterson. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a fan.
I knew it, you fucking idiot. I knew it.
Yeah.
Jeff, I knew as soon as you said it, he's got a fucking heart on. It's underneath the table. He's been looking, he's jerking off over there.
I like Jacob and I respect Jacob, but he and I are probably not caring.
It put a hole in the wall on the other side of the room. Let's be respectful.
But Jordan Peterson was addicted to that.
You up for fucking
he was really bad in Xanax. Yeah.
But that's the thing is that he had a doctor that was like, here, take this every day. And I'm like, you can't take that every day.
Like it's insanely physically dependent. Same as alcohol. When you wake up and get the shakes, like it's exactly the same.
Wow.
See, I think get the shakes, they think it's anxiety. No,
right. It's not the withdrawal from the fucking medication. I didn't go through any alcohol withdrawal. Nothing physical.
Interesting.
I drank a shitload.
Did they give you any medicine in the psych ward? You may not know it. If they shot you up with something.
I don't think they...
Maybe. I don't know.
I didn't get anything...
You weren't on like an IV?
No.
I didn't, but I was on taper meds. So
Yeah.
They gave me fucking something. What was that shit? It was something like along the hydrogazine.
So
It was in that family.
Withdrawal symptoms can be as little as major anxiety, like anxiety. I don't know, major. There's been times where I've been so anxious I had to drink to get it under control.
Right.
Like every morning when I woke up.
Well, just like the volume, like I was doing on a regular basis, I was doing like 128 ounces of like beer, because my corner store, I could do.
I'm just trying to do the math in my head.
I watched you.
You did with my eyeballs. You saw me, didn't you, fucker?
They had 99-cent cans of 32-ounce Miller High Life, and I would get 3
Champagne of beers.
The champagne of beers, yeah.
I love that.
We used to go down to the Flamingo Bowl, and we would do pony races, and they would have the 8-ounce bottles of
Yep.
and we'd do pony. It's called pony race. Like what? And I looked over and I'm like,
So you were a beer guy. You and Scotch. You meant Scotch.
I was an everything guy.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, because towards the end, and they say too, like I realized after you quit drinking, you watch the people and how they drink, like when they switch over to like liquor,
Right.
that's when it's like, oh shit, okay, because it's it's harder, quicker, faster, boom, done.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of did that. I started like I would keep a bottle like. This sucks. If there was one thing I could go back and change about all of this, I would make my last drink not fucking Popov out of the bottle. Yeah,
God.
I know. That's where I was.
Yeah.
Because I came back home that day and I was
Girls in Belleville carry that shit around in their purses.
Yeah, they do. I had a fifth of that, and I came back and there was probably about yay much in that plastic bottle of fifth too. By the way, remember they're in the plastic jugs.
Oh yeah,
they weren't even good enough for blast, baby. And there was probably about that much, about another shot or so left in the bottle. And I went upstairs and I poured that shit out. I'm like, nope, we're good.
Smart. They call that the spider. At the tavern, if they go instead of throwing the bottle out, they lay it on their side. This, I guess, we did it Fridays, and eventually, the alcohol will come down, and you can get a little bit of a taster on that. So don't throw that away.
Yeah.
Wow.
The spider. You don't know what the spider?
No, man.
No.
Now you do.
You're a different level, bud.
I mean, you used to like stick. If you poured it out, you'd stick your tongue in there and try to get all you could out of it.
Dude.
I did that.
So music, you're still playing. How? Tell us about your band.
We play. It started off very Green Day.
The Winks?
Based. Yes, the Winks.
Okay.
We started off really Green Day based because like that's what I kind of knew and understood at the time. But now over the last 10 years or so, it's like I've really explored different music towards like I'm taking inspiration from, McCartney and like Bob Dylan and the Replacements and like Nick Cave.
So are you guys writing your own, covering, do combination?
Okay. We do more originals than we do covers, but I mean we pick a cover that we like. The song rips. We should do it.
Sure.
It's
covers are fun, man.
It's what we want to fucking
hear
do.
that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like we'll cover anything from Metallica to Bowie.
How many people in the band?
There's 3 of us.
And
Very Green Day.
Yeah.
oh, really? Is there 3 in Green Day?
Yeah.
Is do they drink, party?
So Calvin, the bass player, he'll party a little bit, but he's like, yeah,
You're name dropping the motherfucker too. Listen.
Oh yeah, fuck him.
Yeah.
He'll he has maybe a beer or 2 or something before we go on. Never any more than that. Usually less. And then afterwards, if he feels like going, like, yeah, come on, let's hit it. But like he works nights, so like
Sure.
if he's like been up to prep for the show or something, he's like, hey, I'm fucking tired. Like I might have a drink and I'm going home and going to bed.
Sounds so
dude.
mature.
He is for because he's like 24, I think.
Oh, he's young. That's a young kid.
And he's doing that shit. And I'm like, good for you, bud.
Yeah, for sure.
And then our drummer Alex, he I think I've maybe seen him have like 2 beers.
Okay,
or
so
something like he doesn't really he's like he's very conscious about his physical health. Like he eats really clean all the time. He does run clubs.
Oh wow.
And all that sort of thing. So he very much takes care of
Yeah,
himself.
that's hard to mix those two.
It is.
Partying and right. Both do.
Yeah.
You hear so many mainstream musicians that either they get sober or they die from it. You hear about a lot of overdose, a lot of young deaths, a lot of mental health situations. Like, I'm I guess I'm not a huge music fan of anybody to your guys' level, but I love Linkin Park, and was it Chester that I think died by suicide, and right after or before, then it was Chris Cornell, the same thing. Like you, and that Chester Bennington, right?
Yeah.
He not spelled like Jordan. It's with the E. I hear some things that he said prior. I mean, when he was, I think he had some sobriety, some at least clarity, but he really battled it. I don't know. Do you like Linkin Park?
Yeah, I dig. They have Hybrid Theory. I thought was an incredible record. I still bump that. It's probably 20 years old at this point.
At least,
I think they're on tour with. I think they have a female singing that. I guess his parts.
You'd have to.
He's got
He sang high,
Well,
bro.
they just fired her ass.
Did
Oh,
they
really?
Oh,
She gone.
well, I'll be damned.
Fucking tell Angie. Angie's a big
Yeah.
Linkin Park fan.
I'm sure
and
she knows already.
They're coming in like a year to Enterprise Center, and
She's got her tickets already.
asking for him,
But damn, I was gonna. Why'd they fire it? What's the scoop?
I have to, Jamie, we might have to pull this up. But I thought I had read something that they had dug online about her, that she was into like some turf shit. That's like women against trans women.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I remember right, which I mean,
like aggressively, like
yeah,
just shit
and I'm like,
yeah.
fuck that. I won't sit here and say I understand anything explicitly about the LGBTQ community, but all I know is that everyone, community or not, is just trying to live their life and
Bingo.
fucking leave people alone.
Don't be a fucking asshole.
You don't have to understand it, but all you have to do is just be like, that's who you are. Okay, anyway, have a good day.
Well said.
This shit's fucking simple. People are just assholes, man.
Yep. That is. Yeah. Well, that's fucked up. I was looking forward to that concert. I hope they figure that out.
I could
Linkin
be
Park.
wrong, but I'm not positive. I thought.
I think you're wrong.
Okay. I could have swore I heard that.
I think that rumor did go around because I feel like I saw it too somewhere.
So potentially, okay, so it was a rumor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Which, yeah, no, I'm glad to hear that too, because just like when J.K. Rowling came out with her shit, I'm like, why? Because she's a massive
Is that
turf.
the Harry Potter?
Yeah, the creator of Harry Potter.
Okay.
She came out very strong as turf, and I'm just like, you created.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. It's like
Same.
for the way I understand it, it's a small community, but they're very aggressive and mean.
Trans exclusionary radical feminist.
Interesting. It sounds like a bunch of people I want to hang out with.
It's what it sounds like to me too.
Well,
we come from the punk rock world. It's changed since the 70s. The 70s, it was a little different. It was a very, very conservative based. Like the Ramones,
Really?
a lot of those guys were like, we loved Reagan and everything. Joey Ramone didn't, the lead singer. But like a lot of that stuff was pretty, more by the belt, tough guy, conservative sort of shit. And then through the 80s, that really started changing. And through the 90s, like, you had bands like NoFX and like Green Day and Rancid start coming out to where they were like, hey, like, leave people alone. Like Green Day was like, when they broke with Dookie, they brought a band called Pansy Division, which invented basically the punk subgenre queercore. They were three people at the time, I think, I met them in Italy a couple years ago, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're super, super awesome.
Yeah.
They were like the first openly gay punk band. They were like, we are gay and don't care about you.
Fuck off, yeah.
Fuck off,
And I love it that they were like, kind of like reclaiming the like slurs that before like queer became like reclaimed.
Like F-bomb.
Like Pansy Division.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Because obviously, pansy, that word has a negative connotation, But they did that, and like Green Day actually, they would get shit on that tour for like, hey, we don't want a band like Pansy Division playing here. being super homophobic, and Green Day's like, they don't play, we don't, so balls in your court.
Right, and we're going to sell this motherfucking bitch out, so then people shut their mouth and they start losing money.
Yeah, exactly. And there's been interviews with Billy Joe from Green Day. It's like,
Just
we've been scolded. We've been scolded by promoters. Like, we'll do it, but here's why. And like, you're gonna sit here and listen to this. And we're like, fuck you. And I agree to that. Like, what the hell?
I just don't like bullies at all.
Yeah, and that's all it is. It's
Go
fucking
out of your way to
bullying
fucking,
and power and control, and just fuck you.
That sounds like a Green Day album right there.
Yeah, it's called American Idiot.
You okay, Jacob?
Yeah, just work stuff.
Okay,
I thought he's just tuning out because
yeah, it's all right. We love him and we love everybody.
Conservative talk show.
He has a Jordan Peterson podcast going right now.
Yeah.
in his cans.
Let's get my manhood back real quick.
Listen, I wear the pants in my relationship. My wife just picks them
I
out.
was gonna say no. Yeah, I was just getting ready to call you out, bro.
I wear the pants, honey. These are the right ones.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
how can people check the music out? How can people find you guys? Do you play locally? What's going on?
Yeah, we play locally, hit the road every now and then. We do regional stuff. But yeah, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, TikTok. We have a link.
How do you say it?
So our handle is the Winks Band, at the Winks Band. NKS.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no.
No, yeah,
seriously.
you're right. Yeah.
We'll put it in the show notes, but I'm for once being fucking
Yeah, we have a link tree that takes you to all of
Oh,
it.
perfect. Yeah, we'll do that.
Do we have
Yeah.
a link tree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go.
Can we pull that up,
it's in-
Jamie?
it's in your Instagram bio.
Thanks.
Goddamn.
I
He helps
obviously
me with all this shit.
Also, tell me about the song Lush, because that's one that you wrote about this, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
I actually wrote that when I was still drinking.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's a little foreshadowing.
Yeah, absolutely it was.
Or self-awareness you didn't know you had, maybe.
I think there was like an inkling or whatever you want to call it. Like, I knew I had a problem, but at some point in recovery, you're not ready to address it. So you're just like, I'm not going to think about that, and like, put it on the back burner. Because the chorus of that one, pass me another round and I'll drift in between the lost and found. I think I'm drowning with no water to die in, not getting any better because I'm not trying.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot of...
Yeah, you are
Yeah.
a poet.
Yeah.
Seriously. Oh, that's good.
Can I play that song at the end of this episode?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
It'll be $100.
Nope.
I'll pay for that.
Nope.
Because you learn how to haggle, bud.
I'll pay that for. I'll pay
I
it.
pay that. No, I think that's for streaming rates. That's ridiculous.
That's awesome. I'm going to play that song on the way home.
Yeah.
I can get on
Yeah,
YouTube.
we're on YouTube, Apple Music,
Nice.
fucking iTunes,
Spotify.
Tidal.
So
Yeah. Never used that in my
you
life.
have,
Me either. People actually listen to our shit on fucking Tidal.
Really?
And Deozer is another.
Oh.
never heard of it.
Yeah, we get paid by it.
That's good.
I don't know if it's like
nice.
if they push it to what it is. I'm not sure. I need to look into it because we get fucking. It's not a lot of money by any means. It's
Yeah.
All adds up, baby.
It's about 14 cents every 8 months or some
Right.
shit. But I mean, like, we get paid for it. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? Are
yeah,
people
someone's
like,
listening to it.
what are people like? Oh man, I can't wait for that new Nickelback record. Let me pull up my Tidal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what is this? What's this fucking thing?
That's great. So, do you have any scheduled shows coming up?
Yeah, we're June.
No, I put you on the spot.
Yeah, you did.
But let's talk about it. I want to pump you up here to our 7 listeners.
9.
Luckily, we have more than that.
9.
And Jeff will definitely, he's a whiz at this shit. He'll put everything on the notes and.
Oh, found your link tree.
Well, we're actually too Google search. I didn't know this. This is a big deal. We are the first search.
Nice. Well done with the SEO.
We are fucking. I mean, that's it. I typed it in, and that's what came up, and that's us.
Is that that's tight.
Yeah, that's holy shit.
Well done.
Like when you get to that level on Google, that's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like you're paying for the SEO there. I know.
Yeah, because the Winks is not like a. It's not like when you search Pondoff's Anonymous, that's going to come up.
Right. It's fucking better.
But the Winks, yeah, it's a pretty normal word, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because we used to get a bunch of stuff. There's like a show for young kids called the Winks Club, and it's about like fairies in the forest or something.
Oh.
Like little, and I'm like, this isn't me. Like, okay. I'm trying to look. on here.
Bands in town. You got to have stuff on here, right? Oh, that's a different band.
Well, we normally...
No. Are you playing the Golden Record?
The Golden Record, that's it.
June 21st.
21st.
Where's that? Here?
St. Louis.
Yeah. Where is that?
Well, yeah, we never played there before.
Cherokee Street.
That's right. I was wondering where that damn club was.
2720 Cherokee Street. That used to just be called 2720 Cherokee
Oh,
Street.
yeah. I played there back in the day. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, I'm glad to see that space.
We'll try to check it out. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. June 21st.
All right. Man, this is awesome. I really appreciate you coming in. I think it's real important to hear your story. For a lot of people can identify to it. You know, and not everybody, some people think that there's just one cookie cutter way that you have to follow to get sober. We advocate for some real pillars. I know Jacob is a big advocate for 12-step. I mean, I am too. I advocate for it. But you know, there are multiple ways, and I think there's multiple flavors of addicts and alcoholics. You just say addicts, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One disease, but
It's definitely not you know, it's like everything else in life. You know, there's not many one size fits all
Right.
options, you know.
Not at all.
And I used to think too, like, you know, because I would get congratulated on quitting drinking and stuff like that. And for me, I don't know if it's like a little bit of imposter syndrome or what, but I'm just like, it's what I had to do. You know, if I really wanted to like continue to be here and to be a part of this existence for the short time that we do have here, it's what I had to do. And so for me, it's like another step just in life, I guess, but it's also a step that a lot of people have. But I didn't realize the importance of it. And then I really started thinking about this after filling out the questionnaires and everything. And I'm like, no, this actually might be a little bit more important due to the fact that, like, I'm somebody we talked about within the music industry that is around people using everything under the sun, and the party's always happening, and the beer and the shots are always flowing, you know, and in the rock and roll world too, specifically, that's not taking anything. That's not lining up at the bar at the end. That's not going to someone's house afterwards to drink and party and do a bunch of cocaine. You know, in the world that is perceived as one big party, I'm somebody that's still holding strong within that thing, and I don't.
That's good.
I don't partake in it. You know, so it's like anybody, at least specifically within the creative world, you know, that feels like, oh, it's like I need to party so they'll like me, or I need to party so I fit in. They don't think I'm weird. You know, at least I'm here to say, like, nah. And if they do think that, fuck them.
Yeah.
You know, they're the fucking problem.
Amen.
Get them the fuck out of get them the fuck away from you, because you don't need that shit.
And Dylan, I appreciate it. You have a good perspective on how important it is, though. You said that because you're here sharing it, and you know that it sounds like an advocate for people if they're feeling lonely and they're fucking exhausted, that there's a better way. And you said it. It's better. It is a better way to live. You find your smile again. You can find joy again. You can get to work on some things that you didn't even know was fucking eating you alive as a kid, as a teenager. And like you said, that, you know, there's things that used to piss you off that you've worked with this therapist about, that they don't wreck your day. You can handle it, and because of the work you put in. So I think that's all a real important message, man.
I have never been in my life. I've never been more satisfied professionally. I've never been more satisfied personally. You know, I've been dating my girlfriend for 8, 9, 10 months now. Met in July, June. God, I hope she doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, you better get that date down, brother.
Well, I know the date is June 20.
All right, there you go.
So there it was, but it's my brain in, you know, moving mode. But the longer I stay the course, it continues to get better. And especially, like, you know, for me, the medication helped to be able to, like, really, really zero me in.
Sure.
To be like, okay, I know what I need to do now. It's how I feel. You know, I don't like this. I want to go do that. I don't want to take care of this. I want, you know, just whatever. But, you know, people were like, oh, I'll take a few months off of drinking and see if I can come back to it. No. If it's that big of a problem, I feel like truly it's like a year is when you really start to see the actual effects.
Yeah.
I think, because I remember I was talking to an old friend of mine who was like, oh, I'm going to take a month off and clear my head. I'm like, I don't think it's anywhere near enough time, because it took me a year before I was finally like, I actually feel really good. You know, before it got to the point where it's like, okay, I feel I need medication. There was a time within there I'm like, I feel great, you know, and then the medication helped me get to where it's like, okay, now I'm like just at a standard good, what I feel like is kind of normal and average. But for me, it's up because I've always been, you know, so far down. But no, the other side, it doesn't even compare to like whatever fun you think you're going to miss out on.
Right.
Oh man, look at these photos we took and they're all blurry and, you know, you've got mascara just like, you know, scraped across your eyebrow or whatever. And it's just like, oh, what a fun time we had. Did you really? Was it really that fun? Was it worth spending 3/4 of a paycheck that week to go get fucked up for 3 days in a row? Was it worth that? Was it worth the lack of sleep? You know, like, you know, I wake up and I'll go for a run or I'll make coffee. We'll take her dog, my girlfriend, her dog Frankie for a walk. You know, we'll do crafts around the house. We'll take a slow morning to get going and make breakfast together.
Yeah.
Or like I get up early and take care of the things, or I get to sleep in. Like I have options now, and like alcohol and drug use doesn't allow you to have those options. It takes away your freedom. It takes away your freedom.
That's really,
And fuck that. You know, the only one who should be doing anything for you and for yourself is you. You know,
I appreciate that. That's, I think we're wise, and it's going to really help and resonate with people that are tuning in here. So, man, thanks a lot for your time. I appreciate it so much. Looking forward to June 21st. We're going to come out and jam out.
Well, yeah, we're looking forward to having you for sure.
Some club sodas and you know.
Well, I usually stick to
if
water.
I mosh pit, I just hope they can A, hold me up, B, keep your fingers out of my hole. It's in my own C. If you give me a little reach around. I mean, no. If you're gonna mosh pit, you know, make it worth it. Isn't that what it's called? No, it's crowd surf. What the fuck?
Crowd surf.
Yeah.
See why I the last concert I went to, I ended up in jail. So, Dylan, thanks a lot, man. This is great. The front man for the Winks will share all their stuff, so you can check them out, especially if you're into punk rock. Which I am. I like it, so I'm excited to listen to some tunes on the way home. I could drive back to Webster and listen to Lush, and that's pretty exciting. So
yeah,
I want to see that video too of him with the him all portly up there with Billy Joe.
Portly.
We'll pull it up here in a minute whenever
You called him a fat ass. I didn't.
Oh, listen, I can do that. I'm allowed.
Dylan, thanks again, man.
Of course, thank you so much for having me, y'all.
Appreciate you guys so much. We'll do it again sometime, and as always, let us pray.
All the years I change, and yet I find myself still stuck the same. Your whole life rearranging, and it can't seem to remember anything. I just opened up the bottle, and it won't hurt after a while. So many blurred late nights with paper bags and plastic heart-shaped knives. I can't remember if it's wrong or right, but it only matters if I'm gonna die. I just opened up the bottle, and it won't hurt after a while. Pass me another round, then I'll drift in between